Thank you for that reminder because a lot of the time, especially in the online space, right? We overcomplicate things and even in the personal development space, right? We overcomplicate things, but it always comes back to basics. And if you can always come back to those basics, like yes, you can do fancier things and you can make it look prettier and you can make it more automated, you do all that stuff. But those basics, every single time you feel like it's wonky, it's going off the rails, always coming back to basics is the step. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Fearless, the podcast where we are focusing on how to live a rich, courageous, fulfilled life that is soul aligned, values led, impact driven. And as you know, for me, I really truly believe that creating your own business and going through your own entrepreneurial journey is such an effective way to achieve this. So that's why I'm really, really excited today to welcome our guest, because today we have a really remarkable guest with us. She is the creator of the Australian Animals Children's Digital Book Series. And this was a project that was born from her need for an income while writing and publishing. So trying to find a way to support that passion of hers. And she also happens to have over 40 years of business experience, which is absolutely phenomenal and such a wealth of knowledge for all of us to tap into today. So I'm really excited about that. On top of that, she also discovered a simple system that not only transformed her career, but also helped her sell her own creations, right? And isn't that just the goal? So after creating her own success with this venture, she decided to expand this into an incredible opportunity for other impact-driven women to gain access to that extensive business, sales, and marketing experience through a VIP community membership program, which actually offers the potential to create part-time or full-time earning potentials. And that is basically via exclusive reseller and affiliate products, both physical and digital, in a simple system to effectively promote their own products as well. So without further ado, please welcome the visionary behind this incredible system, Elle Boltleri. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. How are you? It is so fantastic to be here. Thank you so much, Crystal, for inviting me, giving me the opportunity. I'm just so buzzed about today.
Yes, me too.
And
And
I want to meet that lady you were just talking about.
yeah, me too. So let's dive in and meet her because she sounds absolutely freaking phenomenal. And that's what we're all about here on the show, right? Like every single one of us has the potential to do this, to create a life that is completely built around the things that light you up, that make you feel inspired, that, make you want to initiate yourself into action and take action and just live that really fulfilled, rich life. And so I love having guests come on the show that can share their own experience of how they have done that, because there's so many different ways to achieve it. So thank you so much for, offering your time. So grateful and thankful for you. And I also love, because listeners of the show know how much I value connection and community. So I also really love that we only met like 2 days ago through a community of Wi-Fi women, and it was just like, oh great, come on the show. Like I love those synchronicities as well. So
Fantastic.
I would really love, I think, to start by asking you, what was that defining moment or that experience? And I know we touched on a little bit in your introduction, that really inspired you to take that leap, and to start your own online business, even though it, probably felt scary or uncertain. You did have a lot of, knowledge, but what was that moment that gave you the courage to be like, I can do this myself and I'm going to go and do it in my own unique way over here?
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you so much for that question. I guess, yeah, as you said in the intro, 40 years of business experience, very difficult when you're only 21. Who
Yeah,
knew?
right. Amazing.
But
We collapse
the
time and
tender
space around here.
at the tender age of 18. So my journey has been one of continually evolving, evolution just journeys through. So tender age of 18, I started my first MLM, multi-level marketing business. And that was absolutely sensational. I was going through Teachers College at the time. So that gave me a bit of pocket money.
Yeah.
It was great. But one of the biggest things was we had access to some of the world's best business training, sales and marketing training, that was available at the time. And so I had that fundamental background there right from such an early age. I went on to teach. I met my husband, had kids. We moved around Queensland. We then, because he was a baker, we ran a bakery, and I also had a mobile beauty service at the time. We were running those concurrently as well as bringing up kids. So, we're doing it all. So I've had all of that experience, and we closed the bakery and closed the mobile beauty service, headed off down to Brisbane to the Big Smoke, which was just phenomenal. And the kids are still there. They don't know any better, apparently. But I went and then got the chance to work for some very large private companies. They weren't so large that we couldn't see the back end. Like, we were in communication with the business owners on a daily basis. We were working side by side. So it gave me a chance to really see the back end operations of what goes on in a business that's bigger than just one person. Yeah. So that was really, really, really exciting. And I moved on from there. I was in real estate. So let me, I guess, get it all sequential. If you want to know about sales, go do real estate, because that's it. That is just pure sales, sales, sales. However, what I was doing at the time was selling houses through social media. Now, I wasn't saying, hey, buy this house.
Yeah.
I was doing it. I was using the social platform socially. So it would be more, hey, does anyone know someone who's looking for a 4-bedroom brick and tile, whatever?
Yeah.
This was back in the days before Facebook even had business pages. So we're going back a while now.
Yeah.
I discovered that other people wanted me to do that for them too. And that was really cool. So there was a natural progression from real estate into social media management. And of course, that then grew, because we then encompassed all of the new and emerging platforms. Were there when Instagram came along, and, everything and anything, including email marketing, blog articles, you name it. So with my background as a teacher and writer, my copywriting skills were natural there as well. So I had all of that. We included graphic design, we included web design, we included all the platforms. You name it, we could do it. That was going really, really, really well. And I was in a training course, and I got a phone call to let me know that my parents had been involved in a serious traffic accident. They are okay now, before anyone gets worried. But I just dropped everything and went to them. So they live about a 5-hour drive from me. And I basically spent 15 months with them going through that recovery, for thinking I could do it all. However, of course, I couldn't service my clients. Surprisingly, clients like service, as they should, which led to me needing to close the digital marketing business. And I realized I didn't have a business that was sustainable and could operate without me. Even though I had other staff, I was still integral to that. So 3 years on, mum and dad doing really, really well. I still go up and see them once a month, but I needed an income generator that had the flexibility to allow me to travel up and down, that could survive without me being in it. So it needed a certain lot of amount of automation. So when I was ready to sort of step back into business and life, I guess, that was one of the considerations. It also was my chance to do my passion project, which, as you mentioned, is creating my Australian Animals children's book series, which we're so close to launching. There's just a few of those tech glitches that the guys are working on to get fixed for me, because I just can't be bothered doing that anymore.
Right.
I
The
used to
joy
have to
of
do it.
outsourcing.
I used to have to do it for everybody else.
Yeah.
I just don't have to anymore. I went, you find it and fix it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And that's the platform that I pay to use to do that side of it. That's all included. So it's valued money there for me. But of course, having those expenses, I needed an income because the books don't make money until they're finished,
Yeah.
they're published, they're on their way,
Yeah.
which is cool. So I discovered this wonderful platform and I looked further into it. And it's the most comprehensive. Now, with my background, you can imagine I've seen a heck of a lot of business resources over the years. This has one of the most, if not the most comprehensive educational platform that I think I've ever seen. It includes all of your business strategy, your marketing, your sales, your social media, your customer service, your follow-up, your email marketing. It's got it all in one total package. And it has the reseller rights. So not only do you get to implement that, you get to sell that to other people as well. And I went, wow. So it's 100% commission.
Yeah.
One sale, I've made my money back. Two, I'm in profit. Easy peasy as that. There are four different levels. But of course, me being me, I couldn't just leave it at that, could I?
No.
So I dived down into it and figured out that I could take the learnings in there, because they're all there, and apply that to any other product.
Yeah.
So over the years, I've got a collection of products available on master reseller rights, private label, white label, affiliates, digital products, physical products, access to wholesale products, got the whole kit and caboodle. So I could take that educational resource and everything that's in it, layer it on top of any other product or service, and there it went again.
Yeah.
And of course, why wouldn't I use that for my own books? So that's already in play, happening, even though it's not live yet. We've got all the pre-launch stuff just ticking along in the background, and I'm constantly getting asked, when's it coming? When's it coming? When's it coming? Hey, I'll get there. But then I decided, well, if people are coming along this journey with me, anyone can do what I've just described. It's available out there. What could I do that was different or better or more? So I expanded that into the Easy as Daily Income VIP community. Grab a drink. VIP community. And if you become a member of that, you actually get the exclusive access to be able to sell those books as well.
Yeah.
So that's a commission-based, go your hardest. They're all sitting there and they can be sold. So that's a subscription model. So that's just a shared commission there. And I'm also in the process, I've got, you gather people around you, and I've got some wonderful artists and creatives that I'm really closely connected to. So I'm also constantly sourcing new products that aren't just available anywhere. So, getting the rights to, their digital prints or their physical prints, but it's being sold through, all of those sorts of things. So they're all going in. So those things are only going to be able to be accessed exclusively through the Easy as Daily Income VIP community. So that was a really exciting add-on that you just can't get anywhere else.
Yes, yes.
Did
Ah,
that tell you what you needed to know?
yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. I love, yeah, thank you for sharing that journey. And it definitely did tell me what I wanted to know. Like it was really that desire to build something you love, that you're passionate about, that also gave you freedom and flexibility. And I think so many women would resonate with that, right? We have so many things that are important to us. We have so many roles and hats that we wear, but we still want something that's ours, right? We still want something that is for us, for,
And I think it's really important that we do that.
yes, I do too. And, in my own journey, I really desired to become a mother. Like, it was a greatest gift of my life, but at the same time, it was a very hard journey for me because I really did struggle with losing my professional identity. I was a head of department, I was in the education system for
Mhm.
15 years, and I was in a leadership role, so I was in the decision making room, and I was very passionate about improving education for students. And yeah, then I had my own beautiful, well, I have two children, but my first daughter, and it really threw me. It really threw me. And so then that started my own journey as well. Well, how can I have something where I can still be making an impact? Because I just know in my soul, in my body, that I'm here to have a big impact in the world. But I also want to be there for my children.
Yep.
That's also a very big value for me. So, yeah, I definitely resonate with that. And I know a lot of women, Ellie, could definitely resonate with that same story. So, and what I love, because I know we chatted a little bit the other day about your human design and being a reflector, and reflectors are all about like being ahead of the game, but also like holding up the mirror and being like, oh, we want more of this in the future going forward. Oh, we want, this is good, like more of the good stuff. And it's about following like your joy and delight and your surprise. And you just listening to your talk is like, that's exactly what you did. You're like, oh, because I wrote down, oh, ask about how the online space changed the game for you. You already mentioned that. You're like, oh, I am naturally seeing this internet thing is going to be big. So I'm just going to go like use it over here. And then when it arrived, when it caught up with you, you
Mhm.
were ready to go. So I just love that because we do
It's
talk
actually been
around.
amazing how often in my life that's actually happened.
Yeah.
Um, I was the mum who, when my kids were little, and computers were just becoming common in the family, and all the TVs going, no, don't let your kids on the computer because it's gonna, fry their brains, whatever. I'm like, hey kids, you're gonna need to be really comfortable with this in the future. So get on there, use the mouse, play games, do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Um, there's been times when, say, we've been camping and we've gone, oh, wouldn't it be really good if like there was just an easy fold up cart that you could take from your campsite down to the beach with everything in it and back. Hey, guess what's available readily now? Like, it's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's
So it's
gonna
like
happen.
reflecting for us, like, oh, this is good. This is gonna stay and be here. So yeah, I really, really love that. And a couple of things that I heard you talking about in terms of your own business journey is um around like sustainability and automation and how important that was. And also I'd love for you to like talk a little bit more about that, but as well, I think you have a really unique experience in that you started in a one person business, in that MLM space and got all of that knowledge, but you also had time inside brick and mortar business. You also got to see behind the scenes of a company based business, like a bigger model of business. So I'd love for you to share, some of the differences, but what could you bring? Say a lot of the women listening are building their own online business, right? And they're single business owners. What knowledge could you offer them from that company based space and from that brick and mortar space that could really help them to grow and scale their business in a sustainable way?
Yeah, sure. And that is so important. So when I had the digital marketing agency, I had up to 8 outsourced project staff. So it was quite intense. We were running flat, to say the least. Managing those was quite challenging, but I guess one of the best things I did there was write down what tasks. So when I was still a one-man band, building that social media management that evolved, what tasks do I do? I just wrote absolutely everything that I did in any space, in any day. And then I sorted them to what is so important that I need to do it. It needs to be me, not anybody else. Somebody else might be able to do it, but for my business to be real, what is it that needs to be me? So that was one column. Then there was another column of which of the other tasks can I just hand over to a VA or somebody else outsourced that I don't need to train them on. It's not specific to my business. They know how to post to social media. All I've got to do is give them access. Bang, done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then there was this middle ground of list of tasks that I knew somebody else could do, and I didn't have to. It didn't have to be me. But to do it my way, they would need some training and guidance. So I immediately outsourced what I had to or what I could, bang, done. And that freed me up time to then create the models or the training and the guidelines to do that middle column and still be able to keep me doing what I wanted to do, what I love to do, or what I had to do for the business. And I guess my ability to do that was the culmination of, as you say, all of those experiences, the training from MLM, the insights into the organizational structure of larger organizations, the mentoring that I had over the years. You know, my business mentor has become one of my closest friends.
Yeah.
You know, it's just amazing to be able to do that and have that connection. Would I say that having a mentor is vital? No. Is it advantageous? Definitely. But typically we only have limited funds. So if you are having a paid mentor or a paid coach, you've got to just make sure your finances are well and truly in place.
Yeah.
I guess, so the question is, you know, what can they sort of bring from all of those experiences to help people grow and leverage? The one thing, or the two things, I guess, that are over and above anything else that go across all of those past experiences, online, digital, physical, product-based, service-based, multi-level marketing, sales and marketing, real estate, goes across absolutely everything. The two things are most critical: consistency. We can all do something for a couple of weeks and then off we go and, we'll just do that and we'll get back to it.
Yeah.
And you never do. So that consistency is a two-edged sword. One is you can get distracted and forget to go back. The other thing is, and this was really prominent in the real estate world, if you don't do the basics when you're selling a house, often the result isn't achieved as easily. The problem there is once you've got into the groove and, hey, I can do this and I'm the best seller and I'm selling more than anybody else, you forget about the basics.
Yes.
And all of a sudden results go down. So it's that consistency of doing what needs to be done without exception, without thinking I don't need that anymore. Just do it consistently. Sorry, my iPad just decided to take a dive.
Yeah, that is so important. And I think thank you for that reminder, because a lot of the time, especially in the online space, right? we overcomplicate things, and even in the personal development space, right? We overcomplicate things, but it always comes back to basics. And if you can always come back to those basics, like, yes, you can do fancier things and you can make it look prettier and you can make it more automated, you do all that stuff, but those basics, every single time you feel like it's wonky, it's going off the rails, always coming back to basics is the step, and that is in your personal growth, but also in your business growth as well. And so I always try and bring it back to, like 5 things I need to do on the daily basis, and that will depend and fluctuate depending on, your energy type and the phase of business you're in and what resources you have available to you. But yeah, like bringing it back to those basics and stop trying to overcomplicate it. Like, it really is very simple, and it really does follow a lot of basic principles that repeat, and if you are consistent with them, you will have that compound effect, right? Eventually, those
Absolutely.
basics you put in every day, that consistency you have, is going to compound into success and results. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. So I mentioned there were two things. So one is consistency. The second is having a strong community around you. That community cannot be overstated.
Yes.
And the importance of that, because your community will challenge your ideas. It can make you think in different ways. It can also, when the self-doubt creeps in, they can support you through that journey. There's, in a community, there's always going to be somebody who has experienced similar challenges to you. Also someone to cheerlead you. So many women are, working on their own. Sorry, is my dog barking annoying you? Okay, cool. He's locked inside. He's supposed to be quiet. So many women are working on their own. They have success, but they don't have someone readily to share that with, whether they're single parenting or maybe their partner doesn't support their journey for whatever reason, or they're, separated just by physical distance. Having a community, it doesn't matter whether it's online or in person, and that depends on your personality type and where you garnish your energy from as well. But yeah, having that community of shared experiences and shared journeys, I think is really vital to success. So those two things, definitely there.
Oh, yeah. The importance and the role of community, especially in, a day and age where, like, the internet is such an incredible tool, and the the potential that it has is amazing, right? And the reach that it creates for you, the access to knowledge, but it can also be a bit isolating when you are, like you say, building something for yourself online, and you do lose a bit of that connection. So yeah, if you are building something, I honestly believe that having a strong community and support system is the difference between making it or not. It really is, because it's hard to pick yourself up in those troughs of the entrepreneurial journey, or just the life journey in general, right? You
Yeah,
don't have those
absolutely.
people around you.
Yeah,
Eventually, it takes a lot of strength to be able to pick yourself up every single time, and sometimes that
definitely.
runs out if you don't have that community to remind you. So yeah,
Certainly makes it easier. Even if you could do it, it
yeah,
makes it easier with that community around you. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
And we're our own worst critic, and we say the most horrible things to ourselves that we would never say to a friend or anybody else. So having people to, like, check you as well and be like, you're crazy. You're
Yeah,
crazy. Look at all this stuff that you did. And people that can give you perspective as
yeah,
well. Yeah.
definitely. Yeah,
Look
no,
where you were and now
100%.
where you are. Yeah.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for all of that. I really love that, because we've really talked about, the organization, the structure, the mechanics of business. Um, Now, in my world, for us, we know we need those things, and we know we need that traditional understanding of business and the function of business. But for us also, we talk a lot about that business isn't something separate to you, that your business is actually an authentic expression of who you are, like your superpowers, your talents, your gifts, also your fears, your challenges, your lessons, right? That is when we say business in my space,
Mhm.
that's what we're talking about, our authentic expression. And we talk about business as a representation of, our mission, our vision, our purpose, like the reason why we're here and how we're here to create success, and that is all completely unique to the individual person. So I'd love to hear more about how the business you've now built with all of that experience and knowledge reflects these things about yourself.
Yeah, look, um, at the ripe old age of 21, I've had enough life experience to know that if you're not doing something that you love, that brings you that joy to be able to get up and talk about, you probably need to take a look. Yes, everyone's got to make an income, but could it be done another way? Or could you add another dimension? If you really hate that 9 to 5 drudge, but you know what, there's bills to pay, and I hate being, homeless and no electricity more than I hate my job. So I'll stick at it. Is there something you can add into that can make things brighter for you? So that was one of my main considerations. I love nothing better. I live literally on the beach, and I love just walking out my door. I can see yours in the background there. Um, Walking out my door and just, I'm looking at the Pacific Ocean and all that's, possible and available. So I wanted to make sure that I had time to be me, that I had time to enjoy all the wonderful things around me, that I had time to enjoy being with my family, going to dinner or lunch or anything else with my husband, catching up with people who I might not otherwise have been able to, going on holidays, going away and traveling when I want to.
Yeah.
So all of those things have always been a priority for me, but they're also what led me to my specific journey right now. That, I had to get up to be on air at 6 o'clock this morning. So I was up at 3 to make sure everything was, prepared. But I loved it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a challenge. Now, given a choice, I'll stay in bed till 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
But it was easy to do because I really do love this whole journey and this whole energy and this whole business that I have created around me to be exactly what I need. But I also love sharing it with people.
Yes.
And so I love that I've been able to create it in a way that others can do the same.
Yes. Yeah, I'm hearing two really key things there, which is the importance of, and of course, because you are a reflector, but the importance of following the things that bring us joy and the things that light us up, or the things that we're obsessed with if you are, different energy types in terms of human design. But that importance, because I'm the same. I completely have control over my own schedule. Um, I do have small children, so I don't get to sleep in, but at the same time, I choose to get up before they get up
Mhm.
because I want to, because I know I'm waking up to do something I love every single day and I want to be prepared for that. Whereas when I was in teaching, it wasn't that I never had a, and I say this all the time, but I loved teaching children. I loved that, but I did not love my job. I didn't love it. It didn't light me up. I was frustrated and angry at the end of almost every single day. So
Mhm.
I wasn't setting my alarm any earlier than I had to go to that
Mhm.
job. But I'll bound out of bed now because I'm so lit up by what I do. So
Mhm.
that is really important. There's actually three things that I want to, yeah, just go into from what I heard you saying, Ellie. The other one was around oh, what was it? So it was the things that light you up. Oh, the value of building something on the side. So financial security is or stability even, is so important when you are building your own business.
Mhm.
because the added stress and pressure of I have to make it work when you leave that job and go all in. For some people it works. If and that depends entirely on you and your energy type and your previous experience and all of those things. But for most of us, that's going to put so much pressure on you that you're going to be coming from the wrong energetic space when you're trying to build that business anyway. So I'm always encouraged, if it is possible for you and it feels good to do so, go to that 9 to 5 with the gratitude of, oh my gosh, I have this job that's letting me build my dream over here. And if you
Yep.
can shift that perspective, it makes it a lot easier because you know I'm building something to leave this that I don't love, but at the same time, far out, it feels good to have this money coming in that I can support and I can, redistribute into this dream over here. So I think that's so, so valuable as well. And I know now that the third point is going to be gone. That's okay. That's all right.
Well,
It'll come back later.
while you rethink that, I'll tell you a funny little story. When my boys were growing up and they got their first jobs working for the supermarkets, and they would come home, and it was, it was tough in retail. It's always tough in retail, and they would come home and they'd grouch and grumble about the fact that they had to go to work, and I would just turn to them and go, "Oh, really? No problems. Feel free to stop anytime. I'll go and let that single dad down the road with 4 kids who can't get a job know that yours is available.
Mm,
I bet he'll appreciate it." And they
mm,
would go, "Oh, yeah." They learned to appreciate what they had to enable them to go and move on to what else that they wanted.
yeah.
Mm.
And it is so important, and it is really easy to fall into a bit of victim consciousness, but also a bit of like, this isn't what I want, and not being present in the moment and just looking at the future. It's like, that's where I'm going, and yeah, you will get there. It's inevitable. If you choose it, it's yours. But if you're only focusing on that, you're going to get yourself, yeah, stuck, and you're going to lose that perspective and fall out of gratitude and appreciation. And yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, I do want to ask you, and I think what we're talking about, yeah, this will be really helpful. Um, so for a lot of us, right, and I'd love to hear your perspective on this as well. Things like fear of failure, fear of success, even fear of judgment quite often holds people back from pursuing these dreams in the first place. And we sort of let them die, because we're like, oh, the risk of those things happening is too scary. So I'm just going to stay here where it feels safe. So I'd love your insight from all of your experience. How did you turn failures and setbacks into opportunities, opportunities for growth and learning in your journey?
Yeah. I'm a great believer in self-development, and so I'm happy to follow, the big names, the Zig Ziglars and the Tony Robbins, but there's also been some unknown names, and I might have only seen one thing, but I might get one little snippet of information that just can make a difference. So if I'm going through a tough time, I will always reach out and see what self-development assistance there might be around at that time. It might be just talking to someone else in business, might be reaching out and having a cuppa with my mentor. Um, it could be going and putting on one of the, DVDs or CDs or whatever, and tapping into, a module there. But one of the biggest things that I always keep in mind is we always ask ourselves, but what if, something disastrous happens?
Mm,
And I always make sure that I also ask, but what if the very best happens?
yeah.
I teach my kids, and they're grown adults, so they'll shoot me for calling them kids, but anyway, to do the rocking chair test.
Okay.
So do you know what the rocking chair
No, I
test is?
don't. So yeah,
So if you've got a decision to make, and I think this might be a Tony Robbins tip, but it's one of those that I've picked up along the way. So you've got a decision to make. You've come to the fork in the road and you don't know, should you do this or should you do that?
Mm.
I always say to my two boys, close your eyes and imagine that you are retired. You're sitting on your veranda in your rocking chair. Firstly, imagine, what if you didn't take that step? How do you feel? And now imagine, retired, sitting in your rocking chair, you did take that step.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
And that can solidify. There's another really good trick, and it's simply flip a coin. Now, I'm not interested in what does the coin say when it lands. But when you flip that coin, when it's in the air, you know which way you want it to come down.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's a
And
great one.
that really gets into that inner core. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not flip a coin and do whatever lands. It's flip a coin and think, what do I want it to land on?
Yes.
Go.
Yeah. And also in that too, it's really important for us to be tuning into our body as well, because our body knows. So even in that, when it lands, what does your body say? Is your body like, yeah, or is it like, ugh?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
is it an expansion or a contraction? And you
Yep.
can even do that with the rocking chair. Like in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm going to ask myself a question. And if I rock forward in my chair, it's a yes. And if I rock back, it's a no, you know, like all of that embodiment work. Yeah, it's two great, great tips. Thank you so much. Because, yeah, decisions can be really tricky, you know, and we do get stuck in the, oh, what if,
They can be debilitating.
yeah, and we can get stuck and procrastinate and yeah.
All the
Yeah.
what ifs come up, but yeah, if you can instantly change it, it just gives you so much power. As I mentioned, I had a very varied career over 40 years, but each one has evolved into another, and it's always involved a decision. You can imagine leaving a really lucrative real estate career that was blossoming and I was selling so easily because all I had to do was put a post on social media.
Yeah.
To leave that role and branch out and become a social media manager.
Yeah.
Massive decision.
Yes. Yeah.
Rocking chair test, flip a coin and decide what did I want it to be come down as, made it just so much simpler.
Yes. Oh, that's such a great, great tool. So make sure you're using these tools, everybody. Make sure that's what we're all about here. This is not a listening podcast, it's a doing podcast. So take these tools and start implementing it. And it's all about experimenting. Just start experimenting with them and see, see how you feel and see what happens and see what you notice. Yeah, I'd love to, because we're on this train already. So I'd love to ask you, and you've given us two great tools that we can use already. But what would you say to, an incredible woman listening who knows, maybe she's in a lucrative career or maybe she's doing something else, but she knows deep down that she really desires more for herself, but she doesn't know how to take that first step. What would you say to her?
Funny you asked that. Look, there are so many opportunities out there, but a lot of them require such an intense time commitment. And I don't know about you, but I only have 24 hours in my day. And I do like to sleep a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I've actually, what attracted me to this fundamental educational platform, business platform, was it can be done in just 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
Now I've actually altered that because I pre-schedule all my social media stuff.
Yeah.
So I have one day where I just, do 4 or 5 hours, and that might be on a weekend or, for me, it doesn't matter. But if people are trying to work around another job, they have one day where, they can just set aside some time And then it's only, 20 minutes, half an hour each day, just jumping on and connecting with people. So it can be done like that. The other risk is the financial commitment that people have. I've always, because I've been lucky to have people help me on my journey along the way, I always want to give back. So I've always priced all my services so that the smaller businesses could afford. I didn't want to work with the big corporates. That might be where the big money was. But if I could help the smaller business who couldn't just throw money at a problem, that was fulfilling for me. So I tried to work out how I could help people who either were absolutely risk averse, because we've all put money into, systems and things that just didn't work.
Yeah.
Usually it's our own fault.
Yep.
because we don't, action it properly, but ultimately it's a loss. So we've all lost money. So I really wanted something where if they actually genuinely did not have any money, they could start with me.
Yeah.
If they were petrified of losing more money again and risking, because, you can count up the tens of thousands of dollars that we've thrown at something and it hasn't worked. I wanted an opportunity that they could work with me.
Yeah.
I wanted an opportunity for people who are just scraping by, like their 9 to 5 or their regular income is just getting them to pay the bills. They've got nothing extra. Sure, if they really wanted to, they could probably, rob Peter, pay Paul. I didn't want them to have to do that. I wanted to support those people. So I've just worked out a way, because, of course, when someone else designs a program, you have to market it in alignment with their requirements. So I'm not allowed to discount the packages.
Yeah.
But I can legally have people work for me on a commission basis and use that commission, and we split it 3 ways. 1, they get income to put back into the family coffers. 2, obviously I get, a cut of whatever they sell. And 3, that middle portion goes to them being able to purchase their own product.
Yeah.
So they're not out of pocket. And then they've got a chance to try it. And if they go, nah, it's not for me, fine. They haven't thrown money at it.
Yeah.
They walk away, shake hands, be friends, we're all good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if they want to proceed, they can either use it, to bring down the cost and just top it up, or they can, they could have even quite really have covered the full cost. Quite really, because we work on 100% commission basis on the fundamental product. So 1 sale, you've made your money back. 2 sales, you're in profit.
Yeah.
So they would be selling for me.
Yeah.
So I would get a bit, they would get a bit, and the other bit would be put into a tub that would go to paying for their product. Yeah.
That's very cool. That's I love that. It's a really creative way to use those systems and to a way in for people. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
And
wanted to make it accessible for everybody.
Yeah, I really admire that because there is a lot of inflexibility in these spaces sometimes, and it's like, well, you're out, like, you can't do it, don't worry, move on, and next, and moving through people like they're a number sort of thing. So yeah, I really do admire that you have had the creativity and the flexibility to offer something like that. Yeah.
So that's the answer for somebody who's in that high energy job but isn't really balancing for them. They can get this started without that risk or pressure.
Yeah, amazing. It's not very often that you find a risk-free opportunity. Well, we're coming up to the end of our time. So thank you so much again for, for giving your time and sharing your wisdom and your expertise. I do have one last question, but before I ask you that question, where can people find you? I'll have some
Mhm.
links in the show notes, but where can people find you if they want more of your knowledge
No.
and wisdom?
Look, the very best place to go is easyasdailyincome.com. And that will actually take you down a rabbit hole, but
Yeah.
initially, easyasdailyincome.com. The good news is there's some freebies there for you. So if
Yay!
you don't want to do anything else, I have created, and you can't get these anywhere else. They are exclusive. So go grab them. Um, the first one is an actual booklet that has sites where you can promote your business or product, some free, some paid. But I mean, over the years, I've been given, here's 200 places you can go and you go and try them, and they're only in the US, or you've got to have an Indian telephone number, or really.
Yeah.
So I've actually sourced specific ones based around Australia
Yeah, amazing.
that at the time of creating it were all up. Any that sort of didn't work, I deleted them. So yeah, so there it's ready and traction. But rather than just say here's a list, I've actually included some really cool SEO tips as to why. I often get asked, well, can't I just use social media?
Yeah.
Well, sure you can,
Yeah.
but you'll get better effect
Yes.
if you go further, and I explain why. So there's some extra gold in there to
The
just
the
help you.
value of that information, if you're listening, just so you're aware, people charge a lot of money for SEO optimization and tips. So
Yep,
the
yep.
value of that is, yeah, go and get it.
And it's
You're
because
building something, go and get it.
it's because I had the digital marketing agency. I've got all that knowledge. I don't need to use it to sell it anymore. Hey, somebody else might get some use out of it. So that's
Yeah.
number one. So that's really cool. The second one is I love Chat GPT, love the AI tools. I've written a prompt that you can just type in your business name and your product and whatever you need it to do, shows you the spaces where to do, put that into Chat GPT and have it write an article for you
Mm,
about your product.
mm.
So that's a very specific prompt. So you can use that and tailor it to yourself. Just a note, please do not ever use anything that any AI writes for you just as it comes.
Yeah.
Number one, unless you are really, really confident in your AI tool, put it through a copyright checker
Yeah.
and make sure that it is not contravening any copyright rules, because let me tell you, the copyright laws aren't going to say it's okay because you used AI. In fact, they'll probably come down harsher. So by all means, put it through, but you can just Google, there are free copyright checkers. Go put it through. I generally put it through 2 or 3 just to be certain.
Yeah.
I'm now confident with what I use, but I recommend everybody check everything
Yeah.
and
Mm,
again and again. So use that prompt. Then when you get it, use that as a draft and go through and make that your own.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
don't use it just as it comes out. And the third one is specifically written, again, you can put your own business name, your own products, whatever. It's specifically designed as like a media release for when you're launching a new product, or you're launching a new business, or you're expanding a business into a new market. It's designed around the creatives, musicians, authors, creators, business owners. I've missed one. Artists, authors, musicians, business owners, but it can be adapted to absolutely anybody. It's on a Microsoft document format, so you can just download it, save as, so you keep the original, and you can reuse that over and over. Every time you get a new product, or you want to sort of really promote one, that's there for you. So those 3 tools, I don't even know what value it would be,
A
somewhere
lot.
between $1 and $1 million, pick a figure.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um, look,
exactly.
there's certainly, and look, nothing's worth anything if you don't use it.
Yeah, 100%.
I've got a shovel out there in the garden shed.
Yeah,
Best shovel in the world, but it's not worth anything unless I actually go and dig my garden with it.
exactly. Yeah.
So
And
use the tools.
that
They're
is
there
the
for you.
most important thing to remember with anything, right? Anything you invest time, money, and effort into, any sort of exchange, you have to do the work. And I talk about this a lot. Like, I work in the coaching space, but I talk about this a lot. Like, I don't do anything. I don't do anything. You have to do all of it. I am here to give you solutions, strategies, tools, a place to come and hold space for you and all of that stuff. But I don't actually do anything. And any coach that says that they do create the result for you is lying. You create all of the results. So
Mhm.
anytime you're getting a resource or you're investing money into your development or your business, it is all down to how you utilize it and how you learn to integrate it and implement it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you go and grab those freebies, that will also take you to the next page, which will actually fully outline that fundamental business program. So you can look at it at your leisure and take it from there.
Amazing. Thank you. Okay, my last question, and I ask this question to every guest that comes onto the show. It's related to the name of the podcast. So I would love to know, what does the word fearless mean to you?
It means to me going forward with strength and confidence.
I like that. Yeah. Nice. Thank you. Thank you.
I was just wondering, I've got a painting up there. It's all blurred because of the settings. I must fix that. And I'm thinking I really need like a saying on there, but that might be it.
Yes. Yeah.
Going forward with strength and confidence.
Yes. Ah. Mm.
That might be this afternoon's job.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I'm just letting that resonate for everybody. Going forward with strength and confidence. Thank you so much, Ellie, again for being on the show. We've absolutely loved having you here and all of your deep insights into business building. And again, to find Ellie, all the information will be in the show notes as well. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section in the show notes and I'll pass them on, or we can have Ellie come back, or we will get the answers to you. So thank you so
100%.
much again, and thank you everybody for listening, and I will see
Thank
you on
you for the
the next show.
opportunity. And bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.